This morning, and I'm not going to give away our ages. Well, I will. We look great for 36. I think all of us do. It's been 20 years since the first time we sat down with you guys in Augusta, Georgia, with your first single. 20 years. What's different about you guys as people and as artists now as opposed to then?
Gosh, everything. We've got more fans than just our parents. We've had before I was the only one that was married at that point. Jay and Jodan are all married. We all have kids now. I mean, we've grown as artists, songwriters, fathers, husbands. Everything has changed, and it's been an amazing journey. And it doesn't feel like we've been together that long, but we still got so much more music to make, and we're having a blast. This is one of our favorite tours that we've ever done. Actually, this playlist tour. So.
Well, and I know that, of course, you love your life, you love your career, you're very grateful for it. Is there any little thing in a moment of honesty that you miss before Rascal Flatts?
Good question. Yeah, I really miss not knowing these guys. I'm totally joking. You set me up too good for that one. I guess not really. I don't think there is. I think, this world that I stepped into the day I met Jay and he introduced me to Gary, my life was changed forever. And for the better. And so I don't want to start crying, but but it's just really special and something that you can only dream of. It's all you can do is dream of, and then that comes true, and it's hard. It's sometimes difficult to live inside your dream. It's like, but what we do is very special. What we have together is something that only the three of us know and can feel that, and so it makes it even more special.
Rascal Flatts is our guest on Country 103.7. Jay, there's no way you could have imagined all of this. What was the goal? You got signed. You're getting to put out a record. What was the initial goal?
Well, really the initial goal when Gary first moved to Nashville was I just really kind of wanted to produce him and help him get a record deal. I don't think there was any deliberate action in trying to put a band together. So early on, before Rascal Flatts even existed, we were just out having some fun trying to find our footing. And Gary was
playing honky tonks and clubs. We were having a blast.
Gary was such a phenomenally gifted singer. It was easy to go out and play with him and just have fun and sing. And then it developed into this kind of thing that snowballed and I think caught us both a little bit by surprise. And here we are. And, the goal when you are a new act is to get a song on the radio and hope it resonates with people and it gets played so that you can put another song out so that you can hopefully sell a few records to do another record. So you take it step by step with fingers and toes crossed, hoping like heck that you have something that people will gravitate toward and identify with, and the kinds of songs that will resonate with them, and touch them in their lives where they are at that point in time. So immediate goals, and then once you reach one, you hopefully reach another one.
Gary, I know that this can be a grind. It can be. With any job, there's things you love, and there's things that after a while you're just like, oh, And I think I have the greatest job in the world, and you do too. Do you still love it? Do you still get the butterflies before a big show? Are there still those moments where you have to pinch yourself, the hair still raises on your arms?
Yeah, every night. It was fun. Just on the way over here, we're talking because we've been off for 2 weeks, and how much we couldn't wait to get back out here. If I had to sit at home one more day, I love my family, but Lord have mercy, it was time to go.
The sad thing is they're probably ready to get rid of us too.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Well, and you mentioned things have changed in your personal life since then, families and children and all of that, and it's hard enough raising a family when you have a 9-to-5 regular office job. How do you juggle all of that with the kids, the family, the road? How does that work?
Well, at least they're not married to
their partner. I know. We're
working
stuck with each other.
Who they're married to.
I guess I'm asking for a friend.
Oh yeah, right. A friend of mine's going through this. You know what we did? We homeschooled our kids, so our kid, the girls could go with us with me on the road and all that kind. Of course, they only picked and choose where they wanted to go. But we homeschooled, and with technology now, everybody can FaceTime and do all that kind of stuff. And we're at a place in our career where we're kind of weekend warriors and go out and bust it. We don't do the 6 months on, 6 months off, and the whole rock and roll tour schedule
balance
stuff.
We're still waiting. We should find out any day who the father of my children are. So once that happens, we've been gone a lot.
That's
so.
a whole nother song. There we go.
Rascal Flatts is our
My
guest.
son came out wanting to clean pools. It was weird. He came out with a skimmer in his hand.
That's honest work.
That's right.
I'm not saying it's not.
No.
I just thought it was weird.
Rascal Flatts is our guest on Country 103.7. Enough about the past for a while. Before we play the new single, I wanted you to hear a call that came in. I mean, completely at random, out of the blue yesterday, and it was right after we had played the new song.
I would like you to give a message to Rascal Flatts. Well, this new song that you just played is phenomenal. But what's phenomenal about it, my husband died 4 years next month. He wanted to play at his funeral, oh my gosh, Life is a Highway, which we did. This song, every time I hear it, I feel like I'm coming back to life. And because it's Rascal Flatts, I feel like it's a sign that I should listen to. So I just want them to know that, what they're doing is really impacting people, and I think that they need to know that there's just such emotion in it. So anyway, I would love for you to tell them that.
That kind of thing's amazing, and that has to happen to you guys, because this isn't the first kind of song that's like that you've sung. It has to happen to you guys a lot. Is it emotionally draining for you to hear these stories over and over again, or is it something that every night you sort of draw upon and say, okay, this is why we do this, because it means that much to people?
Well, that's why we do what we do. Right there, in a nutshell. That's why we spend time away from our families, go the miles that we've gone, do the things in between the hour and a half we spend on stage to get to that moment to connect with a fan like that and hear their stories and hear how impactful something that we've had to say through song has touched them. I mean, when we get tired because we're all human and we get lonely because we're away from our families, that's the fuel that keeps us motivated to do what we do.
That's why it's still fun. That's what outweighs the grind right there,
Now, this music resonates with people, with your fans. Are there songs that you perform night in, night out that resonate like that with you, or that have taken on different meaning with you? And so each night, man, this is number 4 on the set list, but I can't wait for it because this means this to me.
100%, because I know for me, and I probably speak for me and Jay with this, but because Gary's had children now for most of our career, but we just had kids in 2008. My son's 11 now, but My Wish came out in 2006, and so it meant something different back then. And now on stage, I find these moments sometimes, wow, the lyrics are hitting me in such a different way, like in the moment, and it's so cool to be able to kind of live through our songs and through our catalog, as the artist. And so it's pretty cool. It's like, but we've been so hard on songs, like we want to find the best thing we could find that's really got to move us in such a way. And it could be an outside song that other people have written. We don't care where it comes from. But if it hits us, it gives us the goosebump factor. And so that's what, and on stage, like it's just taken on a whole new meaning. A lot of our songs have, for me, through the years. It's incredible to get to play this music every night and to get to love it too. It's like, I love our music,
Well, on a personal level, I hadn't thought about it since we took her call yesterday. But this morning I was thinking about this interview and talking with you guys. And I said, you know what? I'm moving on. I'll never forget that song. That song came out right as Debbie and I were leaving a really, really good job for some uncharted waters. And the line has always resonated, maybe I'll find forgiveness somewhere down this road, when you don't know if you're doing the right thing or not. But it was funny. I hadn't thought about that song in years, and I just that one line, I went, wow. And that's what makes music magical for people. A line, a lyric, a chorus, something. It takes you back to a moment in time.
And that's, that's the greatest reward of being an artist and a songwriter, is that we don't always, you never know whose story you're telling through song. You know, sometimes it's our own. Sometimes you just have no idea whose story it is. We've all lived and dealt with love and loss and that kind of stuff. But there's certain lines, certain lyric, something that touches, that you told that person's story, like Back to Life. That I'm so glad that you played that, but that I've never thought of it the way that she has thought of that song. How
I
that
hadn't
song
either,
hit
but
her.
isn't that's what makes it great, right?
Yeah.
To everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had who was the guy that came up to us at a meet and greet like just a few weeks ago and said he had cancer. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
remember he said he's in remission and it's like doing way better. He said that song resonates with me in a different way because it's like I have a new life now that I've beaten cancer. And like,
Well-
wow, I didn't think about that
Yeah.
in that direction.
And you mentioned how songs hit you and hit different parts of you depending on what stage of your life that you're in and what you're going through. Is there ever any songs that you initially listen to think, well, maybe we'll record that, and it doesn't hit you, and then you revisit it later, have come back to it, it hit you a different way later, and you said, okay, I like it a lot more now?
Broken Road did that to us. We passed on that first.
Wow.
Yeah. And
First album.
My wife was.
yeah.
And then the second
I
album.
was in my.
And the third
I
album.
was throwing out a bunch of old CDs when we used to have CD players in cars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back in my day, you could pop a disc.
And we had this comp disc in Marcus Hummond's version of. We were playing it, and my wife said, well, "What's wrong with that song?" I said, "Nothing. We kind of liked it. It's been around for a while." We listened to it again, and the guys and I listened to it. We had a meeting later on that day, I think, and we were like, "Why in the world did we not cut that on the first CD?" And lo and
you know what's
behold,
crazy? That song was
13 years.
already cut twice before, and it laid around town for that long, and it just
Mark Wright
Found it
tried to
all.
talk Leanne Womack into cutting it and following it up with "I Hope You Dance," and she found out that it had been cut a couple of times. She was like, "No, I don't want to do a song someone else has done." And
Well,
so
look, I hope your dance worked out for her. She was able to pay a bill or
Broken
two.
Road would have been a nice follow.
Rascal Flatts, our guest.
thank you, Leanne.
Yeah.
Rascal Flatts, our guest on Country 103.7. The caller referenced "Life is a Highway." It falls into a unique category for me in that, I don't know, I think about Dave Mason's "We Just Disagree" and Billy Dean's cover killed it. B.W. Stevenson, "My Maria," Brooks and Dunn killed it. Really did like Tom Cochran's "Life is a Highway." You guys didn't just kill it. It's so, when you hear "Life is a Highway" from Tom Cochran now, it sounds odd.
Yeah.
Because it's not the
It's not the one.
definitive version of that song.
Yeah, it's so funny you said that because I just heard it the other day in Kroger.
Your version or a copy?
Tom Cochran's, and I went, that's not right. On the intro, Joe Don's guitar stuff, and I was like, that's not right. And then I was like, oh my gosh, it's Tom Cochran, it's his song. Yeah, sorry, Tom. Yeah, but it sounded odd because it wasn't.
Has there ever been another song that you guys, I mean, everybody plays around with covers, but has there been another song that you guys go, maybe one day we'll give this one a look?
We just did a batch on Spotify that was really fun to do. We went back to the 80s and picked a bunch of our favorite songs growing up. So we got to scratch that itch, gosh, last August I think it was. We did, one of my favorite songs ever was "Do You Believe in Love" by Huey Lewis and the News.
Yeah.
We did our own version of that, and then we did "Feels Like the First Time," Foreigner.
Sweet.
And so I think it's called the Jukebox,
Yeah,
right?
it's called
Rascal
the
Flatts
Jukebox, yeah.
Jukebox. So
It's on you, wherever fine music sold. You can get it online, yeah.
you can find it.
Which our kids are like, what's a jukebox?
They've gone the way of the CD player.
In terms of cover songs, I don't know if this drives you crazy or if you're honored by it or whatnot. With the advent of all these talent shows, whether it be American Idol, The Voice, or whatever, holy crap, between Martina McBride's Broken Wing and your whole catalog, I mean, is there ever a time that you're watching the show going, oh God, someone's going to try to do this again? Oh, geez.
No, I'm going, do it again, because we can get a royalty check.
Well, we've done all those shows, so and it's amazing the music that we've been fortunate enough to cut that just has been so timeless that, I mean, new artists it's had such an impact that they want to sing that as an audition or whatever in front of the world to try, so it's just so humbling. We're so proud that people have still you know,
Still care.
picking one of our
It's hard
songs
when
and
they
doing
butcher
it, you
one,
know?
though.
Yeah.
That's when it
They
says,
butcher it,
I
yeah.
set out on a narrow way.
Hey, you take some
God
Cash's.
bless the broken road.
That Jack Cash is the same whether it's butchered or not.
You are not getting on to Hollywood.
Let me straight to you.
It's definitely broken.
The boys with Rascal Flatts, our guests on Country 103.7. One thing that has changed in the last 20 years, and your hat, Jay, reminded me, Jay's wearing a PXG hat, is their golf game. I'm going to tell a story about them right now that I've told many times to other people, but I want them in person to remember this, and maybe they will, maybe they won't.
This is way back.
This is very first thing. This is Praying for Daylight. We're working in Augusta, and you guys came in to do a little freebie one-off thing at some festival. I think it was Labor Day. Was it Labor Day? It was Labor Day. We got another Augusta girl in here who remembers. And they were like, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, I could take them to go play golf. I said, okay, we'll do it. So I get off the air. We were doing morning radio at the time. I get off the air. We head up to the place I was a member at that was just near the radio station. These dudes pile out wearing their best jorts, t-shirts, tennis shoes. We walk into the pro shop, and I told the pro they were coming, and he was kind of jazzed because he loved country music and Praying for Daylight. And he pulled me aside. He says, dude, I love them. They can't get out on the course looking like this. And I'm like, I said, man, I can't afford to outfit these guys. He says, well, you're going to have to say something. I'm like, oh, and this is like the worst moment ever. Because they're new artists. It's not like they're making money yet, and I know this. And so I went up to them and said, guys, I don't know how to tell you this. Y'all were like, man, no problem. They went out. They went into the pro shop. They got new pants, new shirts, new hats. I don't know if they took the damn tags off.
Well, we had to return them.
The pro comes up to me and says, I'm closing early today. And we went out, and you guys absolutely hacked up a golf course for about 4 hours, just brutally. But in those 20 years, I know you especially have become quite the golf fanatics and obsessed people and gotten to be pretty good. Have you gotten to play some fun places?
Oh man, we've been so blessed when it comes to golf. I mean, I love golf. I've grown madly addicted to it, and
If
Jay
golf
as
would have
well.
died for his sins, he would worship it.
Well put. Well put. That's another song. We're gonna write another song. I have two now. But Gary loves golf too, but and doesn't play as much as Jay and I do. But he's the guy that comes out like once a year and shoots like 80, 82, and like get back
Don't
on the
you
bus.
hate
Get back
guys
on
like
the bus,
that?
dude. But yeah, it's a great outlet, man. It's a wonderful sport, great game. We've gotten to play some really amazing courses.
People don't realize how much time has to be killed.
Joe Don has played
And it-
everywhere around the world. I mean, Joe Don is such an amazing golfer. Jay's a great golfer too. But Joe Don, I mean, he almost won Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
You know, he almost won Pebble Beach. So
Crazy.
Well, I was asking Jake Owen not long ago
Yeah.
about different guys in Nashville now who can play, and he described Joe Don as America's guest.
oh yeah,
That's what he said. He said everywhere. He says, you know, Joe
Yeah.
Don, you see him playing.
yeah, he does.
America's guest.
I drag Jay out there too a lot. I think we've played probably 80 of the top 100 courses now in the country.
Yeah.
Just got him marked off in the bus. Huh?
Joe Don's a member of 84.
Yeah,
those
Gary
80.
Gary got me this.
Before he still hadn't played yet.
You remember giving me that gift? It's a plaque. It's got the top 100 courses, and you put a magnet on there when you play one. I still have it at my house.
God, I wish I could sing.
Pretty cool.
Get you guys out of here on this. Rascal Flatts, our guest on Country 103.7. So it's been 20 years. 20 years from now, where will you be? Jay, you go first.
I'll be in an extended care facility. playing with my own spit
You know what? You'll
in the
own that-
corner.
you'll own that place,
Going,
sir.
you know, there's the time I used to be on the radio.
Gary?
You know, I don't
You'll
know.
be right
man.
beside me.
Praying for daylight.
The three of us will be wheeling ourselves to a VFW somewhere.
Rascal Flatts, sponsored by Rascal.
I don't know, man, what 20 years holds. I don't know. Hopefully still healthy and let God figure the rest out, you know?
You know, I don't know. As long as these guys will let me still work for them, I guess I'll be doing something for these guys.
Yeah.
He'll be golfing.
Definitely be golf happening, but I mean, I don't see myself, you know, not doing music. the rest of my life at any point. Like it's such a part of. I mean, it's what
Yeah.
we do. It's what,
Yeah.
I mean, if this didn't happen, if we weren't here right now because of music, we'd still be doing music somewhere.
20 years, if we're still singing What Hurts the Most, it's going to mean a whole different thing. That's all I can say about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rascal Flatts. Oh, thanks, guys. That was good.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.